So we're getting ready to do one of probably your most nerve-wracking parts of the pond, actually cutting a hole through the liner to hook up the skimmer box. I can tell you, I've done it thousands of times, and it's only nerve-wracking the first time around. But it's actually quite simple. The first thing we want to do is get that liner nice and flat up against the face of the skimmer. So go ahead, Colleen, get that nice and flat up against there. We really want to work out any folds. We would never want to see this liner like that anywhere, because the silicone seal that sits on the other side of this liner in between the face plate and the back side of this will never find these folds, and you'll 100% get a leak there. So work out all these folds, get it nice and flat. All right, so Colin, go ahead and take your screwdriver and lightly mark out that rectangle around here. That's gonna give us a guideline where to cut the hole. We want that hole to fit nice and snug around this. That looks great. So now we can go ahead, mark another rectangle inside of that one, about an inch smaller all the way around. Perfect. So now we can either use a razor blade, a pair of scissors, whatever, whichever is sharper. This works really well. The other thing, as you're cutting this out, Colleen, as you get to these corners, don't go at a right angle, kind of round these corners a little bit. That'll avoid that liner tearing any further. Perfect. So now you can see that hole there. We're just gonna take this and push this through. Now there is a top and a bottom to this. If you notice on this skimmer box, this is slowly tapered here. This door, this is your Weir door. This pops in here like so, and it's designed to float right at the water level. So as my water comes in at this point on the face of my skimmer box, this floats right here, really making sure I pull off just the surface debris. If this thing is put in like this, no longer are we grabbing that surface debris, we're gonna grab stuff from underneath the surface. So all my windblown debris, my helicopter seeds, my grass clippings, tree pollen, anything that hits the surface of the water will just get waterlogged and fall to the bottom. Now that we've got our weir pushed through the hole that Colleen just cut, we're gonna go ahead and put this back up against the face of this. And in your component bag came a couple bags of screws. You've got screws for the skimmer box and screws for the biofalls. So we're gonna go ahead and take the screws that came with our components for the skimmer, fold this liner back. Colleen, I want you to line up this hole here, put that screw in there, and we're gonna line it right up with this hole on this side. So here, Colleen, this is a nice trick. If you can't line up that screw, go ahead and take this awl. You're gonna line this up. If you can put your finger right there, you can kind of see it.
Oh,
see it?
No.
Then
no.
line that up. That. Making sure this liner's staying flat. Now I've got a hole in the liner. I'll hold this for you. Now try to push that through there. Go all the way in. That's good. Now before we poke this one, this is really important. Again, make sure that this liner is nice and flat across the face of this. Again, if that liner sits like this, the silicone's not gonna find these folds in here, and there's no way that'll be watertight. So get it nice and flat. We're gonna do the same thing. So kind of, we don't have to tighten it. Once you feel it catching, then go ahead and back both of these out. So we're gonna back that out, keeping that screw into the liner, and then do the same on this side. All right, Colleen, so the whole reason we did that is you saw how much we had to move this around as we were trying to line up these two corners. If I had put my silicone on first while trying to move this around, I'm gonna get that silicone all over the place, which is gonna mess up the integrity of that silicone seal around here. Now that I've got these two corners lined up, I know everything else is gonna line up easy. So we wanna do a nice bead of silicone right over the top of these inserts. Here, here, and here. There's no reason to put any silicone up here because water level will never get this high. Remember, water level is based right around here. If water level gets higher than this, it would go out through an optional overflow or a low edge of the pond or some other place. The other reason we don't want to waste any silicone here is we put just enough silicone in that tube to attach the liner to the skimmer box and to attach a liner to the biofalls over there. So go ahead, just go right over the top of these and we'll be good. The other thing we want to make sure, of course, as she's doing this, we've cleaned this. We don't want to have any dirt and debris on the face of this, or any dirt or debris on the back side of the liner. Now, really important, as we pull this up, remember we want to keep these screws inside of here, and we don't want to move this around too much because it'll weaken that bead. So we'll slowly fold this back and bring it right back up into there. Doing your best not to smear the silicone. Good, and once I'll get one side for you. Got it? You do that side. We're in the home stretch. The hard part is done. Now I'm gonna hold this. Colleen, go ahead and flip this liner back. Replace my finger with yours. And then go ahead and screw this one in. Good. Now don't go all the way in. The reason I don't go all the way in is if I need to move this around a little bit, it'll allow me to wiggle this just a touch. So loosen this one up just a little bit and that one a little bit. This gives me just a little bit of play. You see how these holes are slightly bigger than the screws? This allows me to pull this up and down, helping line up those holes a little bit. So you're gonna feel for that hole in there and do the same here. And then we're just gonna repeat all the way around until all of these are in. All right, so we'll let Colleen finish up that while we go out and look at our rock pile.